Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, guys. Celtic Warband here, and today I am bringing you a very special battle. This is the Battle of the Teutoburg Forest. It was set in the 9th century AD, and it was a dispute between the Roman Empire and the Germanic tribes. For those of you guys that have noticed, this is my second upload of this battle, just because I inaccurately portrayed it before. I accidentally kept saying Gaul the entire time, but it was not Gaul. In fact, it was the Germanic tribes in Germania where this took part. So a couple things to note before we start. So I've got the Romans all lined up here. They're moving forwards. One comment said that it would have been better to represent the Swabians here. Yes, they were technically a Germanic tribe. I just prefer the Arverni just because it looks more classic. I know that it's not exactly historically accurate, but for this battle, we're going to pretend that it is. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So thanks very much to everyone who commented. Feel free to just comment if you find something is not historically accurate. Most of the time it happens because I'm a little bit too tired and I'm not paying attention. I knew that this was the Germanic tribes, but I kept saying Gaul for some reason. I don't exactly know why. So we're going to do another representation of the battle here, and then I'll get rid of the first one. So for those of you guys that are tuning in for the first time, welcome. Like I said, this is the Battle of Teutoburg Forest. It was set in the 9th century AD, or sorry, 9 AD, and it was actually on September 11th. And basically the backstory to this was the Romans had led a pretty successful campaign against the Germanic tribes over the past few years. And they recently transferred the 3 legions that were remaining in Germania over to Commander Varus. Now, Commander Varus was a very skilled warrior. He knew a lot about battle and also politics, but he was a very ruthless leader. And he did quell quite a few Germanic uprisings, including the Swabians, who were pretty much utterly destroyed by the Romans. And on the way back, he had this trusted scout, and actually his lieutenant was named Arminius. And now Arminius was of Germanic descent. I don't know exactly which tribe he was from, but it is good to note that he was not a full-blooded Roman. But he was very, very trusted by the Romans. And he ended up betraying the Romans in this battle. He kind of convinced Commander Varus to lead the legions through Teutoburg Forest. The reason being was that he said it would be quite a bit of a shortcut, and that the legions would get home to friendlier territory sooner rather than later. And being in hostile territory and with the exhaustion of the march, I think Commander Varus trusted him enough that he led 30,000 men into Teutoburg Forest. So we'll take a look at my army comp real quick, and then we'll get the battle underway. So I've got 4 units of Velites up in the front, kind of just scouting out. And then if we turn around here, I've got my long line representing the legions at that time. They were actually spread out over about 15 to 20 kilometers. So I've got my Eagle cohort in front here, about 6 units of them. And then right in behind, I've got my first cohort, 6 units. And this was on large armies. And then it translates into my veteran legionnaires. I believe I have 8 units of them. And then I've got, I believe, 3 units of Praetorian cavalry and 4 units of Triarii. So I'm bringing some nice spears. Then I've got 2 units of Praetorian guard here with gold chevron upgrades. And then I've got my general way up on this slope. So Commander Varus is kind of watching his legions moving through the forest. And he's keeping an eye or a watch for any sign of flanking from the enemy. So the Germanic tribes had been harassing them for about 3 days now. It was from the 9th to the 11th. And this will represent the final battle in which the Romans encounter the Germanic tribes once again. So we can't really see too much of the Germanic tribes right now. I know that the Arverni is a Celtic tribe, but just try to imagine. So we've got some heavy horse here that are unable to hide in the trees. And then we've got some savage dogs mixed in with some Celtic ballista up here. Or Celtic scorpion, sorry about that. So he's got 1 on each side here. This is Hamdog CDXX playing as the Arverni. And he's got a nice little slope here where he's got some traps set up. These flaming balls will definitely catch them on their descent down into the Roman lines. So, yeah, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this battle. For those of you guys that are tuning in again, thank you very much for mentioning my mistakes. I'm always happy to re-record episodes for the accuracy of it all. I don't really care about money or about views. I really just care about giving you guys some accurate content and accurate representation of what really happened. So yeah, without further ado, I'm kind of just going to cut it here, guys, and then we'll start the battle up again once the Germanic tribes have commenced the attack. Alright guys, so we are back here, and the Roman scouts have discovered that the Germanic tribes are moving forwards on the hillside. You can kind of see them moving on the hilltops there. The heavy horse are charging down the slopes. We're quickly trying to maneuver ourselves into some kind of defensive formation, but it doesn't look like we're going to be quick enough. That heavy horse is coming down really fast. So what I'm going to do right away is try to position my heavily armored eagle cohort onto the side that faces the hill. The reason being for that is because I expect the hardest resistance to be coming down the hillside rather than up. So I'm trying to get them into position as quickly as possible. And you can see that I've got my elite Praetorian guards moving to the other flank. The heavy horse are kind of just sitting there waiting for the orders to charge in. The eagle cohort really isn't in position as of yet. It's nice that the Germans are giving me a little bit of time to form up. You can see on this side over here that my battle lines are beginning to form, which is excellent. But more and more of the Germanics are showing up in the trees. Here we go. We've got a nice charge into the eagle cohort here. This is going to be pretty deadly. Yeah, just penetrating right into the second layer tier lines that I have going on there. A couple of them actually didn't really even get into a good position, as you can see. Look at how far the heavy horse have pushed. They just wiped out this unit of veteran legionaries here. So that is really tough to see for me. I'm just going to kind of zoom out and show you guys my defensive formation. So I've got this kind of arrowhead formation going on. I've got 2 layers facing the downslope, and you can't really tell, but about 2 layers facing the upslope, and I can redeploy my veteran legionaries as necessary. On the flanks, I tried to position a lot of my triarii because I expected that the cav charges would try to buckle my flanks. So we've got the cav getting slaughtered over here on this flank. That's pretty good for me. I just want to... oh, here we go. We've got the flaming balls of justice coming in towards my eagle cohort just in time. I'm glad I didn't miss this. Yeah, it doesn't matter how elite your infantry are. They're just going to rip through your men. And actually probably slamming into the other side as well. Killing some of the heavy horse, though, so that is pretty good. Yeah, a lot of death and burning. Here comes some more right through the center of my lines. Ooh, that is tough to see. My Praetorian cavalry is kind of just sitting there. I probably should have moved them outside of the formation, but I didn't really think ahead on that. It was just such a quick battle. But I just want to kind of showcase these warriors. The other reason that I didn't pick Swaby is because I don't think that they were available. I'm using 2 mods. I'm using the Roman Centurion mod, and I'm using Wolfman's Painted Savages. And I believe that these Painted Savages, which is who I wanted to showcase in this Battle of Teutoburg Forest, weren't really available. But this is classic Swaby look. You can tell they've got the nice square shields. The war dogs are ready to charge forwards. Here they go. I would not be looking forward to being charged by one of these puppies here. Where are they charging? Pretty much, where are they going? Oh, they got caught up by my veteran legionaries here. Excellent. I think I'm trying to close the gap over on this flank. But I'll show you some of these 2-handed axes as well. Very Germanic looking. What are these called? The Agrarian Berserkers, yeah, so they're a 2-handed sword unit, and they are OP. They just rip apart Romans. So very nice to see them. So it looks like the Germans have kind of focused their most elite infantry onto my left flank. You can see he's got more Agrarian Berserkers here. He's got some Agrarian Headhunters. That's who these spears are. And then up here he's got some Agrarian Headhunters. Very cool name for the archer units. You can see them there. Looking very scary, very deadly. But, yeah, let's go ahead and pop this onto play. Only 7 minutes left in the battle. These ambushes go so fast. It will probably lag quite a bit as it is large armies. But I'll turn it back to slow motion in a bit. I just want to give you guys kind of the feel and sounds of the battle. So over on this flank, I'm actually doing quite well. It's a much lighter resistance as I kind of expected. So my infantry is holding out really well against these chosen warriors. You're going to see the arrows coming in, though, firing at the backs of a lot of my legionaries. If we take a look over on this flank, look at this. My brave Triarii holding back so many men. This battle line is insane. But these Triarii are battle-hardened troops. I believe they had to have a certain minimum amount of years before you could even become one. And they are very, very skilled, hardy warriors, usually over 40, so they've seen about 20 years of battle. Let's go ahead and put this back to slow motion here so we don't miss what else is going on. I'm doing quite well on this flank as well, now that the heavy horse has been destroyed. I am starting to redeploy my veteran legionaries to come after these naked warriors here. And this is a battle that I can definitely win against these very lightly armored Germans. My veteran legionaries should be able to cut them apart. But the main issue for me is this flank over here. I think I have my general involved over here. I also have my elite of the elite Praetorian Guard over on this flank, just because these Berserkers are just so good. I believe they are like 13 or 1,500 each, but they are worth it because they just rack up the kills. Especially against my gold chevroned elite Praetorian Guard. Like, this is the best infantry that Rome can bring. And these Berserkers are just ripping them to shreds. Oh, there we go. One of them got a kill there. Actually, that was a Triarii, though. This guy with the gold helmet and the white face paint, that looks so scary. If you were, like, facing down that guy, he's got this massive two-handed axe. It's probably full of bacteria. If you were cut with that and you survived the battle, you'd probably still die of infection. And then over here, I'm doing a little bit better against the chosen warriors. They're not doing as much damage as the Agrarian warriors. But yeah, so far it's kind of even, I would say. A lot of the Arverni are starting to waver, as you can see, but it's mostly their naked warriors and some of their cheaper chosen warriors. I've got my general in the fight. You can see the general and bodyguard, but 17 out of 40 men still left. So it's not looking good over there. I've still got my Velites. I believe they have used up most of their ammo, but I'm still trying to fire what I have. Redeploying some more veteran legionaries over to the flank. You can see them moving forwards. I'm sure the battle is just chaotic. There's officers shouting, shouting commands every which way. I don't know exactly where we're headed into, but looks like I'm going to reinforce this flank. But yeah, I'm actually doing quite well on this flank. As you guys can see, a lot of my Eagle cohort is actually moving to rip apart the last of these naked warriors that are retreating. But from where I'm doing so well on this flank, I am doing just as bad on the other flank. So that's why I say the battle is pretty close at this point. I've got some of my veteran legionaries in against these tribesmen, mixed in with the chosen warriors. Yeah, get some good kills. Then I've still got my Triarii still alive in this engagement. They've kind of formed a secondary line just to keep us from getting outflanked. Looks like I'm really thinning over here, though. These veteran legionaries are just getting destroyed by these chosen warriors. Whoa. Let's go back to slow motion here. 3 minutes left in the battle. Arminius has been spotted on the battlefield. You can see him over here. He was taking some fire. I was trying to focus him with my Velites. The Germanic coward, he's not even joining into the battle at this point. He's mostly coming after my veteran legionaries over here. I tried to charge them up the slope to silence those Agrarian headhunters, but Arminius just got an excellent charge on my veteran legionaries. They are steady. My general has died at this point, so their morale is wavering, or dropping, I should say. But yeah, these Agrarian headhunters are just getting out of there. Those scorpions are just firing down on what's left of my men. And look how thin my men are compared to these Agrarian Berserkers. Look, 3 men lost in this unit. We got some Spear Nobles over here. What about this other unit here? Agrarian Headhunters, 94 of 100, so 6 lost. Agrarian Berserkers, 92 of 160. They're a little bit more depleted, but like they've slaughtered the best of the Roman infantry almost as if they were nothing. So if you guys are kind of wanting some more diverse gameplay, I definitely recommend Wolfman's Painted Savages. I would just, if you're playing with a buddy, I would just cap them. Maybe like no more than 2 Berserkers, because they are OP. So we're doing good over here. Oh, look at this. All of these warriors have actually broken through. They're kind of flanking in behind my first cohort over here. Are these guys breaking? Yeah, my Praetorian Guard have broken. More veteran legionaries have broken. How are we looking on other sides of the battle here? I'm doing pretty well, like I said, over here, just because it's cheaper warriors. You can see there's like some chosen spearmen, but we got some like spear warriors, Levy Freeman. So nothing too special. He does have some chosen swordsmen that have flanked behind my Triarii, though. So they're technically being attacked in the rear right now. Let's kind of zoom in and look how bloody these guys are. They've seen a lot of battle. And they are still holding out. I love the Triarii. They're just so solid. Same with the Principes. I didn't end up bringing them, but they are also a very solid and cost-effective unit. Oh, here comes some of the tribesmen. This is pretty accurate as to what most of the warriors were. The Germanic tribes weren't known for fielding like thousands of heavily armored units. It was mostly just, you know, everyday farmers, blacksmiths, you know, nobody super special. And they were all known to kind of carry shields and some light spears. But what do we got going on over here? Yeah, so you can see that I've kind of been split into 2 sides now. My center, I was able to beat back on both sides of the center, but now I've kind of pushed my troops onto either flank. I am 100% losing over on this flank. We've got the Savage Dog handlers moving into melee now. And this first cohort with, we got some veteran legionaries on the sides. They're just holding back this massive amount of angry Germans. Yeah, so it was, according to the research I've done, it was 5 tribes, I believe, that out of 50 or so that agreed with Arminius to ally against the Romans. So not all of the Germanic tribes were interested in going in on it, so it was mainly 5 main ones. But even after the Romans were slaughtered, Commander Varus's head was taken from his body, and Arminius did send it to a tribal leader of one of the neighboring tribes, and it was a sign of kind of an alliance against Rome. But the Germanic chieftain actually refused the alliance. So not everybody was against the Romans, but I think that was probably more from fear. But these 5 tribes definitely did kind of eliminate most of the Roman threat in Germania at that point. Like I said, it was just over 30,000 Roman soldiers took part in the battle, and probably less than 6,000 survived. And they only survived to either be sacrificed for the sick rituals of the time that they believed in, or sold into slavery or ransomed off. I know that a lot of the officers, it said on one of the pages that they were put into boiling pots of water and stuff, so pretty gruesome. Definitely, I know it sounds gross, but I think Varus got the sweet end of the deal. It was just a quick death. But yeah, so this is a total loss for my Roman infantry. As you can see, not many of my men are left at this point. My veteran legionaries over on this flank are starting to waver. And we've got Arminius actually charging into my Praetorian Guard over here. So that's who's fighting right now. I was trying really hard to slay the general of the Germanic general, but I wasn't able to. I believe that my men break just before we kind of do too much damage. Although he's taken quite a bit. He's down to 47 out of 80. Just look at the death over here. These long lines of Romans. Yeah, so about 24,000 Romans slain on this decisive battle. There was kind of some mixed talk about what the Germanic casualties were. Some say that it was fairly light. Some say that it reflected close to 5 or 6,000. So it really just depends. It's really hard to say. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for the battle. So again, to those of you who noticed my mistake, thank you very much. And I hope that this second edition of the battle was worth it, and it was more historically accurate and maybe a little more epic. And to those of you who are tuning in for the first time, hopefully you enjoyed this battle. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more content, and I will see you in the next one.
Varus. Oh! Quintus Varus, give me back my legions!